What's up, YouTube? It's the Action Figure Grader coming back to you finally, mercifully for a lot of you, an update on the vintage collection. I haven't done one in a while because I've been out of town. And I have to admit freely that I haven't followed closely any eBay auctions for the vintage collection for the last week or so. So I kind of had to do some digging. I had maybe 7 or 8 that were on my watch list that I showed in my What to Buy video. We're going to cover those, including that AFA 85 unpunched VC04, and as you can see, that sold for big money as I expected. I almost called the price on the dot, if I remember. I think I said it was going to sell for $800, and sure enough, that's what it sold for. But we've got lots of graded, lots of ungraded, TVC 1.0, and then some later editions. But as I said, I just haven't had a chance to kind of do some decent searches ahead of time for auctions so I could put them on my watch list. So I had to kind of dig through a lot of closed transactions, and it took a while, but I think I found a pretty good list here that you guys will find interesting. And, you know, coming up on the channel, I've got some pretty good videos coming. I've got a giveaway coming for Lego Star Wars. As you guys remember in my kind of live stream, my 5K live stream, Charles over at 5 Idiots Talking Toys gave me a mint and sealed box Republic fighter tank from the Clone Wars. So we're going to do a giveaway on that later this week. So stay tuned, but we got at least 1 or 2, if not 3 giveaways all coming hopefully in the next week or two. If I could just get my act together and get those filmed. So let's dig in. So the first one we got is VC12 Darth Sidious, obviously unpunched. Very rarely does that one come punched, or maybe I'm getting it mixed up with some of those other TVC. But I do know that we have a graded foil example of Darth Sidious coming up later in this video. But this ungraded non-foil example with the free Boba Fett offer sold for $110 plus $6.30 shipping. You know, I guess that's about fair because it did have a crease in the upper right-hand corner, which kept the price down just a little bit. I did find a couple of data points as high as $180. So obviously, given that crease on the back, that's probably a pretty fair deal relative to where they sell for near mint plus. Here's another foil Boba Fett. I've got a graded example that we're going to show you later. So remember this price. But this is an ungraded, very good plus plus according to the seller. Foil Ultimate Galactic Hunt Boba Fett with the offer sticker for the rocket firing Fett. It looked a lot better than very good plus plus. It looked to be pretty darn awesome condition, at least 85 or 85 plus condition. That one sold for $144. Now I want you to remember that price, and I'm also saying it out loud so I remember this price, but we got a graded example of this that also sold here recently when we dig into the graded items. Now here was that Obi-Wan Kenobi VC16, and it was labeled as unpunched, and I had this in my What to Buy video. Now, it sold for $187.50, and it makes me think if the market doesn't believe that this is truly an unpunched item. And it's hard to tell, but if you look at the back of the card, that the punch looks good to me. But if you look at the front of the card, I don't know if it's just me, but you know, there's a little bit of wear around the hang tab, both at the top and the bottom. So it's a little suspicious, and it makes you think that maybe that punch was filled back in. Now, I don't know if that's a fact or not. It could just be wear from being stored. But it seems like the market dictated, you know, based on the price of $187.50, the market is saying that they're not buying that this is an unpunched example of Obi-Wan Kenobi. So I don't know, but I did want to at least show that one because I had it in my What to Buy video, and I think I did mention that there is a little bit of wear around that hang tab. So, but anyway, the final auction price was $187.50. Commander Gree, this is one we haven't talked about in a little while, but this was a beautiful looking example of an unpunched US card for Commander Gree. This one, it looked like it had just some very, very, very slight edge wear on the back of the card by the VC43. This one sold over in the UK for 145 pounds, which is 182 US dollars. That's not a bad price relative to where this one was selling last year. And I think we saw as high as $300. So Commander Gree, unpunched US card for 182 US. This was a steal, and I can't remember who sent this to me. It was after it sold, but somebody got a bargain on a VC44 unpunched Luke Skywalker Dagobah Landing US card. It looked really clean. This one had the dark blue saber, as we've talked about. There are 2 different saber variations. This one sold for $100. It was listed for $100, free shipping. So I don't know if the seller just wanted to dump it or what, because it looked near mint plus condition. And to get one of those for $100 even, free shipping, that's well below market value, well below market value. So I think someone got a great buy on that one. The AT-RT driver, this is one we've kind of talked about off and on. This was kind of hovering around 125 to 140. This one sold in an auction, free shipping for 90 bucks. That's a good buy. One bid on that one. So obviously this one has come back down just a little bit, but it looked really clean. It was the U.S. card, again, unpunched. Slave Leia, Princess Leia in her slave outfit, VC64. This one was the Revenge of the Jedi retail release, so it had the paperwork inside the blister for the prototype FET, and it was punched as well. So it was by no means, perfect. It wasn't unpunched, but the blister looked really nice, and the card looked, very good to very good plus. And it sold for $400. $400. That's usually the price I associate with unpunched examples for VC64. But $400 free shipping, took that one home. So that was a buy it now situation. Aura Singh, this one sold in an auction for 80 bucks, 18 bids, unpunched. VC73, this is the US card. It looked really clean, just based on the photos. And that's another one that kind of seems to be hovering in that $75 to $90 range. I very rarely see this one go over $100. So it's a really wide blister, as I've talked about, but pretty awesome looking card back. Next up is the Princess Leia Sandstorm outfit. I have no idea why this one sold so high. This one sold for $146 free shipping, but as you can see, it had a little bit of wear around the hang tab. Not much, but it looks like it had a little crease above the hang tab. And again, it was punched, so it wasn't like this was an unpunched example, but 146 seems awfully high for that one. There was some edge wear in the upper left-hand corner on the back of the card as well. So that one seems like an overpay to me. Oddball, this is another one that seemed like a kind of an expensive buy. This seller had 6 available. 5 of them have sold for $195 each. So that's well above where we've documented VC97 sell for usually. Admittedly, it does look very, very clean, but 100 to 125 seems to be more like the going rate to me. But apparently this seller has sold 5 of them at almost $200. So that's almost double what I consider to be market value. Speaking of one that's going down in price, Ahsoka, the original issue Ahsoka. I had this one, I believe, in my What to Buy video. It was unpunched, the US card back. It sold for $205. That is the lowest price I've seen in a very long time for VC 102. The original issue Ahsoka unpunched on the US card back. So that one has come way down. I mean, we remember the old days prior to the reissue where this one ungraded would be going for like $500 or $600. It's just unbelievable the free fall that this Ahsoka first issue has taken since the reissue has been released to the market. Next up here is that VC04 unpunched missing saber AFA 85 VC04 Luke Skywalker Bespin. And, it's always tough to find it unpunched, but this one also was missing the lightsaber inside the packaging. AFA 85, and it sold for $800. And believe me, you can go back and watch my What to Buy video. I think I said that the last one I knew of sold for around $800. So this one sold for almost the exact same price as the last one I saw sell. Again, it was a missing saber. It was a slightly lower grade of 85. The other one was an AFA 90, I believe, that sold for $800 and change. This one sold for $800 even, plus $10 shipping. Next up is that Darth Sidious on the foil Ultimate Galactic Hunt, AFA 9.0 on the modern scale. That one sold for big money, $288. $288 on that one, and that compares versus the non-foil example punch that sold for $110. So big money on that one. $110 versus $288. And then now we got a few Boba Fett's. This is the foil Boba Fett that sold. It was AFA 8.5 on the modern scale. That one sold for $180 versus, I've already forgotten the number that I was trying to remember in my head, but it was like I'm going to go back and look it up. $144 plus $6 shipping versus this one that sold for $180 plus $25 shipping. So that's about $220. So about $75 more for the graded example, 8.5 grade, but pretty good buy on that one relative to the ungraded example, in my opinion. Next up is the rocket firing FET. This one, I had 2 different examples that sold. This one was graded 8.5 on the modern scale, but it had the mailer box packed inside it, and I did not know that AFA did this. but it's uncirculated 8.5, and they did enclose it with the mailer box inside the AFA case, and that's the first time I've ever seen AFA do that. I know that CAS does that and UKG do that, but I did not know that AFA did that. That one sold for $302 plus $25 shipping. And then here's one that's graded the same grade, uncirculated 8.5, without the mailer box inside the AFA case. That one sold for $237.50. So substantial price difference, but it should be given how much more expensive it is to grade with the shipper box inside. Next up is that seller Power Droid. He always gets really high prices for his uncirculated TVC 1.0 that are unpunched. We talked about that Magna Guard that sold for like $1,400 or something crazy. This is an uncirculated 9.0 Han Solo Bespin. That one sold for $200. Again, that's a pretty high price just given what this figure goes for ungraded, 25 bucks, 30 bucks. And then he also sold the Gamorrean Guard unpunched with the Darth Maul offer. That was an uncirculated 9.0. That one sold for $350 plus $18.95 shipping. So let's call that $370 for just a Gamorrean Guard. So that's pretty crazy what he's able to get for those uncirculated TVC 1.0 on the secondary market right now. But that's what he got. Next up was a Lumat. This one was graded 85 plus on the standard scale with the 3-tier grading. And that's a good price, 175 bucks free shipping. Lumat had, we've seen examples that have sold ungraded for $140 plus. So to get that one for 175 free shipping, to me, that's a great buy. Next up was a graded UKG 90% Boba Fett Tatooine. This is the deluxe box series. And man, this seller kind of took a bath on this one. This sold for 52 pounds, which is 65 US dollars. That is a bargain of a price. To me, it probably cost that just to grade it. And so that one did not go very well for that seller, but it was a 90% gold UKG Boba Fett Tatooine Deluxe Series TVC. And apparently nobody wants that one. So it sold for 52 pounds, which is 65 US dollars. That's a bargain of a deal there. And then finally, I got an uncirculated 90 Fennec Shan. This one sold for $125 free shipping. I've got a 90 grade AFA Fennec Shan. There's no way I'm selling it for 125 bucks. I'm really surprised that the secondary market has basically thrown up all over Fennec Shan. No one cares about this figure, and to me, it was one of the better releases from 2022. The face sculpt, everything, the card back is beautiful, but maybe just the Book of Boba Fett, because it was kind of a crappy series, nobody cares about the figure releases in high grade. But this one was an uncirculated 90, 90, 90, 95 were the sub scores, and the seller took 125 for it, which there's no way I'd sell mine for that. But that's a good buy. Somebody got a really good buy on that one. So anyway, I hope you like looking at some of these vintage collection prices, both graded and ungraded. And I'm sorry I haven't had a TVC market update in a while. Just been traveling with the family, and I promise to get back to my regular weekly scheduled TVC market updates, because those seem to be some of my most popular videos. So I know you guys have been waiting for some of those. And thanks so much for watching, and I'll be back soon.